Shine Henry, $25.80. Number 4, Just One, $22. Muirfield Village, $6.50. Pallet, $23.10. Number 7, Captive Edition, $16.70. Number 8, Kenny's Best Pal, $23.40. 9, River Hero, $11.40. 10, Check That Style, $17. 11, Reading, $8.10. 12, Scalero, $39. Our Pompeii, $56. Mac Bray, $14.40. Tuscan Artist, $74. Pease Classic, $95.70. Raising Kentucky, $26. Sovereign Dan, $82.80. And number 19, Restitution, is a scratching from the double AMI Victoria Derby and start. Sydney Colt Coronation Day is the favourite for the Derby. This striking 3-year-old has proved he's the best stayer of his age in Sydney. A tall and strong horse, Coronation Day has an explosive sprint. Palace Rain is trained by David Hayes. After winning the Group 1 Caulfield Guineas, Palace Rain was involved in a nasty fall in last week's Cox Plate after looking a winning chance. Palace Rain, like most of his rivals, is untried at the 2,500 metres. Trainer Bart Cummings always has a strong hand in the Derby. This year is no different. The Cup's King's main hopes rest with Muirfield Village and Shoeshine Henry. Muirfield Village is a smart 3-year-old who has come a long way in a short time. Shoeshine Henry put up a nice Derby trial when third to fellow Derby contenders Kenny's Best Pal and Captive Edition last week at Moonee Valley. South Australian Reading is still a maiden but looks a natural stayer. He finished 4th at Moonee Valley last week. The David Hayes train Check That Style was impressive in beating fellow Derby contenders Just One, Sovereign Dan and Pallet in the Geelong Derby trial 10 days ago. Another Sydney colt with claims is the Brian Mayfield Smith-trained River Hero, who revelled in the wet ground to win the Norman Robinson Stakes at Caulfield 2 weeks ago.
Well, just forget that run. And prior to that, well, of course, he'd won the Champion Stakes up in Sydney. He is a wonderful-looking racehorse. He's showing $3.70. The query is, can he handle the going? If he does, I think he'll win.
Number 2, Palace Rain, we know.
Well, just forget that run. And prior to that, well, of course, he'd won the Champion Stakes up in Sydney. He is a wonderful-looking racehorse. He's showing $3.70. The query is, can he handle the going? If he does, I think he'll win.
Number 2, Palace Rain, we know can handle the rain-affected going. He won the Caulfield Guineas in fine fashion on a heavy track, and then he was bolting in the Cox Plate last week when he suffered interference and fell about 600 metres from home. He looks particularly well. He was just a bit sore after the Cox Plate, and that's always a worry in an important race such as the Victoria Derby.
David Hayes has declared him fully fit. Shoeshine Henry, number 3. Well, he was inclined to race fairly fiercely the other day in the BMW Vase at Moonee Valley in the race won by Kenny's Best Pal, and probably didn't leave himself a lot left at the finish. He's going to have to settle a bit better over the 2,500 metres, because if he does start pulling and wanting to race fiercely today, that'll probably spell the end of his chances.
Peter, just a little bit of late information. Letza Lape's been granted permission to work at Flemington tomorrow morning, and her Melbourne Cup preparation is going ahead.
Oh, good.
And number 4, Just One, ran a good second in the Geelong Derby Trial Stakes to Check the Style. She's drawn out in 14. I doubt whether he'll run the distance right out, but certainly must be a chance if he can handle the 2,500 metres.
Well, the gold, red striped sleeves and red cap we saw go to victory in the previous event, the Wakeful, and they're carried here by this handsome grey Muirfield Village by Exit 5B. Forget his run in the Cox Plate again. You can say that about so many. Coronation Day beat him easily in the Champion Stakes, but he looks as though he's one of the ones to beat.
There's a bit of a tip around for number 6, Palate, but he's only won 1 of 13 starts, 4th at a Geelong Derby trial. He would have to improve a lot.
Captive Edition, number 7, battled on pretty well behind Kenny's Best Pal. Looked a winner until about 100 metres to go the other day, but he just found the last little bit beyond him. 2,500 metres, I'd say, perhaps a little bit of a query with it.
Number 8, Kenny's Best Pal, ran home very well to win at Moonee Valley last week, but it's significant that Mick Dittman has switched from him to Muirfield Village in the Derby, and Kenny's Best Pal's probably chances each way.
All right, let's have a look at the other main chances. Number 9, River Hero, certainly a chance. A very good winner at Caulfield. He flashed home, ridden by Shane Dye, won by 3 1/4 lengths that day. He'll handle the going.
Number 11, Reading, was a good chance, I think, until the rain came. He rattled home in the BMW last week at Moonee Valley, but much better suited on a good track.
And about the only other one I'd say is number 14, McBrave. I did see this horse win on closed circuit television when he won at Cheltenham. He won by 7 lengths, hard held. That was on a dead track. He looks as though he might handle it okay, But, well, it's a tough race, and I'll stick with Coronation Day, Graham.
Yes, so I'm sticking with Coronation Day. Muirfield a very good chance, and number 17 Racing Kentucky, trained by Bart Cummins, another we should mention.
OK, the classic race for the 3-year-olds, the AAMI Victoria Derby. Candidates about to go to the stalls. We'll be back to Flemington for the main race on the first day of the carnival after this break.
Well, there they are, cantering up to the start for the Victoria Derby. And what a race it's going to be. It's just been mentioned to me by all my friends here in the studio that every time I've mentioned it was going to fine up, it's bucketed down. So I won't mention it again. It might then fine up. All right, let's go up to the broadcast box and Danny Malecki.
Thanks very much, Tim. This is a blue ribbon event, the Group 1 AAMI Victoria Derby. And we've got a marvellous field. 18 horses contesting this event, Gary. Well, it's a race that you never actually got to win, but was placed in it 6 times. It must have been frustrating.
It was, Dan, and really I couldn't say I was unlucky in any of them. I had good runs in the races. This start here is very important, the 2,500 metre. You've got a very short run to the turn. The horse is drawing wide. They've only got the 2 options. Either they kick up or they go back and try and get in. But Coronation Day certainly looks very well to me.
Well, Jim Cassidy's got the right on Coronation Day, and Jim's won 2 previous derbies on Handy Proverb and Omnicore. Let's see what Jim has to say about the big 3-year-old.
Well, Jim, to put it bluntly, he's put a little bit of a damper on things. Coronation Day, what about the track?
Well, he's never raced on it. The Mary was out of Born to be Queen. She was a good wet tracker, and I just hope that she's thrown a little bit back to him. The way the track is, he's a long striding horse, and normally it doesn't sort of really suit them sort of horses.
Jim Cassidy, the rider of Coronation Day. Who's the favourite? Let's have a look at the tote rundown. Coronation Day's at $3.50, odds equivalent of 5 to 2. Palace Rain $9.40, Shoeshine Henry $30, Just One $26, Muirfield Village $7.50, Pallet $20.80, Captive Edition $22.60, Kenny's Best Pal $30, River Hero $6.70. Continued to shorten right up, River Hero. Check That Style $18.90, Reading $10.10, Scalero $52, Our Pompeii $72, Mac Brave $16.80, Tuscan Artist, the horse from Perth, $114. He's Classic $89, the Kiwi, $24 for Raising Kentucky number 17, and $109 about number 18, Sovereign Dan. Restitution is out. Win pool of almost $1 million, $941,000, would climb past the $1 million mark by the time they jump, and $634,000 for the place. So already the Derby holding over $1.5 million. Well, Gary, your tip in the event, are you going to stick with Coronation Day?
Yes, he certainly looks nice. He's nice and relaxed there. He's got the right jockey. One I do like a little bit is Reading, but I notice he's still a maiden, but a maiden won it last year, I think.
2 years ago, Fire Oak. Reading, he's a very lovely type of horse, and gee, he'll be suited by the distance, and of course he's by Nassipor, and Nassipor's side the Cup Quinella last year of Letzel Open, Shiva's Revenge, so he's certainly got the right breeding despite being a maiden, Gary.
That's right, yes, it's certainly, and he's been running home very well in most of his races. So I would expect, on the bigger track, that's what the trainers say the horse wants. Well, I hope he can get home today for them.
Well, Bart's had a tremendous record in this race, and he's got 3 in it this year. Shoeshine Henry, Muirfield Village, and Raising Kentucky as well, number 17.
Well, that's right. Muirfield Village was very impressive that day at Rose Hill when he beat Superimpose. And his runner wasn't all that bad at the Cox Plate because it was a pretty rough race, and I think a lot of those horses you can ignore they ran in that.
Palace Rain fell in the Cox Plate last week. Can that affect his chances?
Well, it often does. The horse will lose a little bit of confidence. His winning the Caulfield Guineas was very good, and that is generally a race that's had a good bearing on the Derby. But whether that horse has got over that fall, only this race will tell, actually.
There's been good support for River Hero, number 9. He has shortened right up in the betting. He was double-figure odds, and now a clear-cut second favourite at $6.20 and $2.30. Crackers might have some last-minute information from the betting ring.
And I would say that River Hero, the boys down here are really going to take a whack in the eye if these two actually run to Quinella or get up, because there's been a hell of a lot of money, a lot of interstate money, and a lot of money from New Zealand. But all of a sudden, the boys have really decided to have a bet, and they've opened up and they've walked in, and I've seen a couple of $1,000 bets put on. There has been a couple of $5,000, and over in the rails, a lot of money put on too.
All set to go for the double AMI Victoria Derby, 2,500 metres. The light is on. Favourite Coronation Day. Set, and they're racing. Coronation Day missed the start by a length or so, and Shoeshine Henry a bit slow to begin with Tuscan Artist. One of the first horses to appear was Just One, and he immediately looks for the front running from Palace Rain. McBrave goes up in a second placing, and wide out on the track getting to third, Sovereign Dan, followed by He's Classic. Coronation Day's worked up to be fifth going out of the straight. They were followed by Muirfield Village, Palace Rain seventh on the rail, followed by Captive Edition. Going around them three deep was Racing Kentucky, and they were followed by Shoeshine Henry. Pallet back midfield from Our Pompey and Reading, 2 lengths to River Hero, who settled well for Die. Then Tuscan Artist, 2 lengths to Check That Style, 2 lengths to Kenny's Best Pal, and last of all was Scalero, and he's 15 lengths off the lead. Along the back of the course they go, 1,700 metres to run, and McBrave in front for Darren Gauci. By a length to Sovereign Dan. Third, the inside was Just One. Shoeshine Henry going up 3 deep to fourth, and they were followed by He's Classic, Coronation Day. Seventh on the inside, Palace Rain. A length away then to out on the outside, Muirfield Village, Captive Edition, the rail. They were followed by Pallet back midfield, Racing Kentucky 3 deep. Our Pompey's over on the fence, a length away then to Reading, 2 lengths away Tuscan Artist and River Hero. 1.5 to Check That Style, 2 lengths to Kenny's Best Pal, and a length and a half to Scalero. Well, there must be 20 to 25 lengths between first from last. They have about 1,300 metres to travel, and He's Classic has taken over in the Derby. Leads by a length to McBrave. Third was Shoeshine Henry, a length away fourth, Sovereign Dan. A length and a half to Coronation Day, who's back fifth on the inside. A length and a half then to Palace Rain. Muirfield Village is starting to make up a bit of ground with Racing Kentucky. Over on the inside, Captive Edition, and then came Pallet. Reading starting to work into it. Our Pompey behind those, a break of 3 lengths to River Hero. Kenny's Best Pal taken to the outside, and then came Tuscan Artist back at the tail of the field with Check That Style. They have 700 metres left to go, and again they're starting to bunch right up. McBrave just in front of He's Classic. Shoeshine Henry was third. Then Coronation Day, followed by Muirfield Village, Sovereign Dan. Palace Rain getting away from the rail. Running on was Reading. Very wide out was Kenny's Best Pal. Around the home turn in the double AMI Victoria Derby. And it's He's Classic, one of the outsiders in front. From McBrave under pressure, then Shoeshine Henry. Here's Racing Kentucky on the outside, running on strongly. Muirfield Village behind them. Coronation Day got chopped off. 300 metres left to go. Hitting the front, Racing Kentucky. Reading is wearing it down. Getting up along the inside was Muirfield Village. 150 to go. Reading a length and a half in front. Muirfield Village got to second, then Racing Kentucky. Reading in front of the Derby, and a maiden's going to win the Derby again. Reading draws away to win by a length and a half. Second, Muirfield Village. Close up third, Racing Kentucky. Then Our Pompey, Palace Rain. Check That Style made up ground from Pallet, River Hero. A break the Captive Edition. Well back was Just One, followed in by McBrave. Then He's Classic, well back Sovereign Dan from Scalero. Coronation Day's run third last from Kenny's Best Pal and Shoeshine Henry. Oh, there's one tailed off, and that was Tuscan Artist.
Well, Danny, that was the one that I said I thought might win, and that story you did on Narsapur, anyone at home that watched that, well, I hope they back Reading, but boy, Damien Oliver, he just continues to impress me as a jockey. Like, you forget he's not even 21 yet. And Muirfield Village was a good run. Coronation Day just over-raced. He pulled very hard. I noticed at the 1600, Jim Cassidy, when on a wet day like this, the reins are inclined to slip a bit in your hands, and he was in a bit of trouble down past the 1600 on Coronation Day.
He certainly had his work coming before the turn, but Reading was, gee, he rated that perfectly, Damien Oliver, because he's a natural stayer that would be running on, and he just let him flow into the race, and I made it a one-act affair in the last 200. Bart Cummings' horses, Muirfield Village and Racing Kentucky battle on pretty well and have emerged as very nice staying horses. But
I thought coming to the 200 when Mick Tippman angled for a run on Muirfield Village that he was going to be right in it, but Reading was just too strong. And Reading, to me, looks like with another year on him, he'll even be a better horse. He'll mature a little bit. He's still an immature-looking horse to me.
He's by Nassifore, we mentioned before, they take time to mature. This is his first win today, and it's a $778,000 race. Gary, looking at the replay, 11, 5 and 17 are the placings. 5 second Muirfield Village, and 17 is third Racing Kentucky. Well, he's put the issue beyond doubt at the 250. Reading's hit the front.
That's right, and here you can see Muirfield Village. Mick Tippman's gone back to the inside. And I thought at this stage he might get home, but Reading was just far too strong. I noticed just as they straighten up, there's a little bit of trouble. Palace Rain seemed to just cop a little bit of a check, but that might have been a little bit of the horses losing his confidence from that fall last week.
11, 5 and 17 are the placings. Fourth in was number 13, which was Our Pompeii, and fifth in was number 10, Check That Style. They're the winning connections, and what a moment that would be to win a Victoria Derby.
Oh, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
You'd be absolutely elated. You'd be on cloud nine for a long, long time.
Certainly would. It's amazing, Dan, last year we remarked on some of these young jockeys coming through, like Stephen King, Damien Oliver. Here's Damien here. He's got just so much polish, this boy. You know, it just amazes me the way he's riding, so much confidence.
Geez,
very
really
vigorous.
Really putting it together, Damien Oliver. That was a perfect ride. And what a moment too for Gavin Kelly. That's his biggest success with a horse that was a maiden going into today's race, number 11 Reading. Gavin's talking with Peter Donegan.
Yes, and it's a very emotional Gavin Kelly. How are the nerves?
Well, they're a little bit ruined at the moment. When the rain came this morning, it really put a damper on things, and I really was a bit concerned about him going through this. The track's not too bad, but I didn't want this. We wanted him to go a long way in a race like this, and look, he's proved, I think, that he was the best star in the race today. And that was always the thing with him, that he wanted the race hard and fit, and he will stay the journey. So I think that's what won it for him.
Did you feel any pressure leading up to the race, because everyone was talking about him? Oh, a maiden might win the Derby again.
There was a lot of interest in him, and I think the horse showed plenty of ability, and it was probably a pity that he was a maiden, but he's a very good horse, and I'm pleased that we finally got it.
Damien Oliver, a wonderful ride too.
Yeah, wonderful. Like I chased a couple of riders for him prior to the build start and that, and I couldn't really get anybody to commit. And after last Saturday's run, Damien committed, and that was nice too.
It must be a wonderful moment for you. I think you try and convince your lady to win a Sandown Cup, but this would probably put that in the shade now, I suppose.
I think this is just about it. This is perfect. This is a lot of planning, and it's finally come off.
Well, Gavin, the feeling's about to be complete as he comes back. I'm sure you want to be there with him. Congratulations.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you.
The trainer of the Victoria Derby winner, AAMI Victoria Derby winner in Reading, number 11, ridden by Damien Oliver. There's a bit of a superstition when you come onto race courses, the first person you bump into you should follow. The first person I bumped into when I walked into the course very early this morning was Damien Oliver. And there he is, coming back to scale now with the skull cap raised, the winner of the Victoria Derby, shades of Fire Oak a couple of years ago when a maiden won the Derby. And it's happened again today. This chestnut horse has been too good. Number 11, Reading, taking out the classic race for 3-year-olds. Second placing going to number 5, Muirfield Village, and the outsider, number 17, Racing Kentucky, running third. There are the placings after the AAMI Victoria Derby. And a wonderful scene down here in the mounting yard. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more on the big race in just a moment.
In the last 2 years in the Derby?
Yeah, that's right, Graham. I was really thrilled to win the race today. It's been a little bit frustrating the last couple of years just getting beaten, but I was really satisfied to win it today.
Now, Reading was a quiet tip going into the race, but most people thought he needed a good track.
He usually a lot better on top of the ground, but I just rode in quietly and getting him plenty of time to travel up underneath me and let him wind out in the straight.
That makes a big difference, of course, having the horse well balanced underneath you.
For sure, particularly on a wet track.
Now, you raced a fair way back as the mud on your face and the silk shows.
I wasn't sort of too worried about how far I got back, as long as I, got him one off the fence and had an easy run through the race.
And then you whipped out coming to the 400 metres, and you loomed up as a big challenge right at that stage.
Yeah, it worked out well because I had Muirfield Village back inside me in a pocket, and I got a good card up from some of the other runners in the race, and when he straightened up, I just went for home on him.
And you're out on the outside and a good clear going and a good run.
That's right, yeah. The horse has a nasty habit of ducking in when he's under pressure, and I thought about changing the whip to the left hand, but I knew he'd cleared them, so I let him go forward to the fence then.
And he did duck in a little bit towards the post, didn't he? But nothing of any concern.
No, not at all. He sort of had the race won by then.
Good. Congratulations, Amy. A marvellous young jockey and another great win for you. Congratulations.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Thank you.
Okay.
When you come out of your time?
Yes, indeed, it was a great win, and there you can see it. Damien Oliver getting stuck into Reading. Didn't really need to. He went to the line. A very good winner indeed. There's the VRC Derby winner for 1992. We have correct weight. Let's go to the local dividends right round the country.
All I can say is that as a maiden, What a hell of a way to break your duck, the VRC Derby. I'd like to pay a particular tribute to, and this is in the right order, to my wife Jill, who's put up with all hell over the last few months, because it is a difficult process to get to this stage. I'd specifically like to thank young Gavin Kelly. We've had our ups and downs, but don't anyone let anybody tell you that he doesn't know how to train horses. He's just proven he's done a magnificent job. Congratulations, Gavin.
Yes, an absolutely great win, but I tell you what, followers of Muirfield Village shouldn't be too disappointed. If you saw in that replay, he was really trying hard. But a great win to Reading, the VRC Derby, and another champion for Nike.
Say a horse is a good thing, you know, they just got to be exceptional.
And take you to one of the best resorts in Australia to enjoy your winnings.
Not bad for a morning's work, eh?
Healthy, wealthy and wise, 7:30 Monday on Southern Cross.
In Kentucky, $6, trifecta $1,658.50. Quinella paid $40.10, and the running double paid $44.70. Placings 11, 5 and 17 in the Victoria Derby of 1992, and correct weight is there.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Let's go back now to the Channel 10, Network 10 marquee, I should say. And Kerry-Ann mentioned before that Robert Sangster is not here this year, which is very unusual, but his son Adam is, and Kerry-Ann has him with her.
Yes, thank you very much, Tim. Adam Sangster has joined us, who's the director of Swettenham Stud and responsible for the Southern Hemisphere horse racing. Good afternoon, Adam.
Good afternoon, Kerry.
A tip for the Cup?
A tip for the Cup? Well, I don't think anyone could probably beat Undercross, the sort of Sub-Zero to come Quinella.
That's a muster.
I would have thought so with this weather, and he's pretty good sort of stayer.
Now, it's very unusual for your father, Robert Sangster, not to be here.
Yeah,
Could you explain why?
Well, the reason is for a Kerry, because we've got the Breeders' Cup this weekend, and sadly the Breeders' Cup always sort of falls on the same weekend.